What has God put in your hand? You know, you have enough already to do what God has called you to do. This summer at camp, I spoke to the kids about Moses, and I've always loved the story of Moses. I don't remember how old I was, but I remember as a child in Sunday school being captivated by the story of Moses. I mean, this Hebrew boy, born at a time when Pharaoh decides he wants all the Hebrew boy babies killed. He gets placed in the basket. You know the story. Providentially, that basket floats right to Pharaoh's daughter, who's out in the water, and then Moses ends up being raised by his Hebrew mother while living in Pharaoh's court. And you know the story. The part of the story I want to focus on today that I've been thinking through in my head the last several weeks is when God finally speaks to Moses. Remember, he's been out in the desert all these years, and God shows up and says, Moses, I want you to go back to Pharaoh, and I'm going to use you to let my people go. And if you remember the story, Moses, he starts this laundry list of excuses. You know, God, what if they don't believe me, and who am I, and I can't speak, and what if they ask me who you are? And I love the part of the story where God says, Moses, what is that in your hand? And Moses says, it's a staff, right? And God says, throw it on the ground. And he throws it on the ground, and it becomes a serpent. And then we know God says, grab the serpent, and it turns back into a stick or a staff. And the point was this, that although Moses had this laundry list of excuses, God told Moses, you know what, Moses, you already have what you need. I'm enough. God says, what is that in your hand? Now let me encourage you with something today, friend. What has God put in your hand? You have enough already to do what God has called you to do. Sometimes God gives us a big idea. He puts something big on our heart. We wake up with this dream and we're like, who am I, right? What if the people don't believe me? God, I don't have what it takes. And God wants to remind you today, listen, look in your hand. What is it that's in your hand? What is in your hand is good enough. Friend, be encouraged with this today. Whatever the task, whatever the mission, whatever the dream, with you and your God, this amazing God that you serve, you have enough. Don't be discouraged. Don't think, I don't have what it takes. Don't look at the hurdles. Instead, look at the one who is all-powerful, he's all-knowing, and he is right by your side.